Okay, so if anybody notices anything, these two carburetors, these are off the 53. I have pulled them off. They're not very good carburetors. Those would be the original style carburetor, the old Rochester. Probably, I'm guessing one of them was originally part of the truck. Don't know which one. They are two different sizes, so that's kind of why this truck's always had some really bad drivability issues. Probably can't see any better light. Look down there. One of them is necked down quite a bit more than the other, so they're two different sizes, which no bueno. So they're off. I'll show you the truck here in a second. Walking up to the 53. If somebody doesn't remember, this is a 53 1-ton Chevy panel truck. It's got some old school modifications on there, obviously. So it's probably the first time I've been able to really show this intake. But yeah, took the old carbs off. I don't remember if I mentioned in the last little clip there that I'm upgrading the carburetors. So it's not the old school carbs I would write. Well, not the old school carbs that I would like to have on this thing, but we do have some brand new carbs. So these are Weber's. What do they call it? Like 32 DGDF or something like that. There are two barrels. They are really small carburetors, so these actually work really well when you use two of them on a motor this size. That's a 235 in there. These are good for about 100 cubic inch motors. They are, what you call it, a progressive. If I can do it one-handed here. Probably not. Probably not even pulling the right lever. Anyways, you'll see later. I got these, the adapters, the air cleaners with adapters. Got everything from Tom Langdon online. I think he's Stovebolt6.com, something like that. So if anybody needs some upgrade parts or better parts, that's where to get them. He seems to know a lot about these things. I think that's where I got the HEI distributor and all that stuff. Yeah, it is. That was his whole kit. Worked great. Prices are very reasonable. Only thing I really need to do to this is I'm supposed to be heating the intake manifold on this. It's got a spot on the bottom of the intake that you run coolant to. Originally it would have been exhaust, but Tom sells a kit for that too. But somebody welded in that plate, the opening on the bottom, so one of these days I'm going to pull the intake completely off and open that back up so I can run that. But until then, we're just going to get a nice new set of carburetors on there, get it running how it should for the most part. And right now, these new carbs will not clear this fender support, so I'm just going to have to take that off. Hopefully it's not critical. Shouldn't be. I believe this side should have had one at one time and it's missing, so or I can modify one later on to clear. That and the studs on the intake there are too long. I'm a little worried about those because they're probably in there pretty good. They've probably been in there for at least 30 years. Most likely longer. So, alright, as I make some progress, I'll make another clip. Well, I just did a bunch of work and forgot I was going to try and film some of it. So, basically I've got the adapters mounted, carburetors are mounted to the adapters. Had to cut down the studs, used the angle grinder with a cutoff wheel. You see my little tabs on the back there installed on the passenger side for the linkage kit. I don't think I showed you that part, but yes, there's a linkage kit to make it all work. And yeah, that's where we're at. Not the prettiest looking carbs on there, but they're supposed to work pretty good. So we'll see. We're at it again, next day here. So that's our linkage kit for the new carburetors. The only thing they shorted me on was the nuts to attach the couple of these rods to the little arms. But yeah, basically these guys here, they mount down to the brackets to get the bar a solid piece. And that's going to go down to the actual throttle, towards the pedal, all the linkage on that. These guys go to the carburetor. So, let's see about putting this all up. Hopefully it all matches up to what I've already got. If you can see down there for my my throttle setup. Alright, here's the throttle linkage mounted up. I haven't tightened anything down, so you can see carburetors are opening. Like I said, I haven't tightened anything, so it's just sliding around. I'm going to modify something different on the throttle here. That's coming off the pedal. Anybody familiar with these? The throttle pedal is a rod that comes through the firewall. I don't know if you can see this. I've got stuff in the way and I've got a little tripod on here. It's hard to get in there. That's the pivot there. The throttle pedal rod goes on the bottom there. This one here goes up to the carburetor. One thing I never liked about the throttle on this truck, none of it's original, it's all been messed with and whatever, but the throttle pedal only had like very little play. It was like, you know, nothing or full throttle, or it might have never even gone full throttle, I don't know. But never cared for that. So I'm gonna try and change the, I guess you could say, the ratios of the leverage. So for now I am going to modify a rod to go from there up to the carburetor so it's a little bit longer, especially since the carbs on this sit a little higher. And then what I might end up doing is actually moving that hole back towards there so that the pedal will move further than that other rod. So it won't be like the 1-to-1 ratio, because, you know, these carburetors only move, the throttle arm only moves about an inch on them, you know, from closed to open. So that's basically all the throttle pedal's going to move, is that much. I don't like that. So let's go modify a rod. Alright, these are our rods we're dealing with. This was the one that was originally in there. Sorry, the light's all weird. I got sunshine coming through the door. Okay, this is the original rod. I don't know if it was bent on purpose, but this is... I have no idea if this is any kind of original piece that was modified before. That end was on there before. I found this piece already has an end cut off. I wonder if maybe this is the piece that they actually used to weld that little threaded end on. And then I was using that for possibility. This piece here is my longest one, but it's only for, it's probably a battery hold down. Doesn't have the right threads, it's ugly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this original one, which is not much prettier. I'm going to cut the threads off, cut a length off of this rod and weld it straight on there. And then I'm going to probably go about that long. Just gonna guess for now, and then I'll come back and remodify and weld if I get a little closer. Beauty. Tack on this side. Clean it up later once I figure out if it's the right length and everything. Okay. Mucho better. Which time we got? 3 minutes on the record. Okay. Pretty straight for just eyeballing it, huh? Alright, well, you can see my... Not too bad for flux core, actually. It took. So, I'll just use that to see if the length is right. If it is, then I'll weld it a couple more times and clean it up and grind her down and giggity giggity.